Welcome to this quick tutorial on setting up Python and getting started with your first program. Whether you're a beginner or just need a refresher, this guide will walk you through everything you need. Let's first download the Python. Go to the python.org and click on Downloads. Scroll down to the version you need. Let me download the latest version. If you're on Windows, Mac OS, or Linux, download the specific version that suits you. And once you have downloaded, open the setup, click next, and click on complete. This completes the Python installation. Once you have installed, open a terminal and check whether the Python is installed or not by typing this command python capital V. It shows the version of the Python that is currently there on your local system. Once the download of Python is complete, next download Visual Studio Code, which we use for this tutorial for coding. To check whether we have the Visual Studio Code already downloaded, we can just type code version. This returns the version of the VS Code. Now let's create a folder somewhere in our local system. I would create it in documents with the name of Python series. I would open it in the Visual Studio Code by typing the command code followed by the location. This would open the Visual Studio Code in that specific editor. Now, to create our first program, let's start with the Hello World program as every developer would start. Let's say hello.py. Any Python program ends with an extension .py. Let's just print out some hello world text to the console using the command print. Print generally takes an string input or an object input and uh, prints it to the console. Just say hello world, save the program, open the terminal, type Python and the name of the file hello.py. We can see that the program is executed successfully, and it is as simple as that. The main advantage with Python is that it's easy to understand, easy to write code, and it's less piece of code to write, and no or very little boilerplate code needed for as a setup process. And it is machine independent, which means it can run on any operating system. So these are all some advantages of Python. One of the major downside with Python is it is slower when compared with the conventional programming languages like C and Java. Now let us see how we can isolate our Python environment by creating virtual environment. To create virtual environment in Python, we use the command python -m env dot the name of the environment we want to create, say series. Then it would create a dot series folder, which if you expand, you can see some set of folders like bin, where you have the Python interpreter and your activate command or activate script to activate our virtual environment. And we have lib, which contains the modules like pip, etc. So to activate our environment, we can type source space the path to the activate dot fish. Because I use a fish terminal, I need to use fish. But if you have a bash or any other, you can use just the activate. Go to the bin folder and say activate dot fish. You can see the series virtual environment is active now. You can see the list of packages that are there here. As the lib folder shows, only pip is available for us. Suppose say we want to install pandas. I just type pip install pandas. Here we can see all the dependencies that are needed for pandas, and the pandas module is also downloaded in the lib. So lib is something that can be used for storing the site packages. Even lib64, this is a 64-bit representation of the packages, which where a 64-bit version of the packages are stored. So this is what's inside our virtual environment. It contains an isolated packages for specific project and isolated Python interpreter for our project. Now now that we have seen how to write a program in Python and how to execute it and how to create an isolated environment. Now let us see how to deactivate the environment and go back to the system's default Python interpreter. Just use the deactivate command for that to deactivate the virtual environment that you have entered. Now that you can see the pop-up in the left hand side is gone, and to confirm that you can just type which Python. It defaults to the one in your local system. To see the difference, you can go back and activate your environment again and now type which Python. I'm sure it would point to the one in this bin folder. You can see here it's in the virtual environment bin and Python. It is pointing to this one. That's it for this tutorial, guys. Thank you.